Come on. Right. Next slide. So, Bam, what does it mean to keep thy foot? Whenever you hear it, what does that make you think? Bam, your mic is something just went bad. I don't know what just happened. Bam.
Yeah. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so what does it mean to keep thy foot?
To stay on path?
Stay on path? Like, watch where you're going, basically. That's what you would think. Jim, without saying the answer,
Yeah,
what
hold on. I'm trying to. How you took it off?
Took what off?
Took what?
I can't see.
Huh?
Oh, I see. Okay, there you go. I see it. I did something. I'm trying to figure out how to move this because this little screen is blocking the.
Why don't you hit the hide thumbnail video?
You said hit where?
Okay, you see where all three of the things are, right? You see those three things at the top left? Click the one at the far left.
Click where?
Damn. Hit the minimize button.
Listen, I don't have a computer.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. But no, it's this it's all right. It ain't that. It just trying to get this little video chat thing off.
I know. Like, is it?
No.
Okay, so like the video
No,
chat thing.
that's not it. I'll figure it out later. Let's go.
Okay. So you said keeping thy foot means to basically watch where you're going, basically, right?
I thought he said stay on the path.
Yeah, well, I said stay on path, but
okay, well, yeah, stay on the path. Okay. All right. So I'm going back to the view over there. And why did that pop up? Somebody told you to do that. All right, so let's go to Judges 13.
You said Judges 13?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I don't have my sword with me.
Okay, I'll tell you. You ain't got a Bible?
Share. Bam, them disappeared.
You can't with me, brother.
Mm.
You're gonna disappear for real.
Okay. Judges 13, right?
Yep.
My bad.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Page 21. Well, it's been minutes since I touched the real Bible. I just give me one.
Huh?
No, because for years, I had a Bible on my phone.
Ah.
So it was easier to access until you don't have it. All right, just 13 with.
Oh, we're gonna start at 1.
All right.
Judges 13, verse 1.
Yep.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahuwah. And Yah delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah. And his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of Yah appeared unto the woman and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore bear, I pray. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing, for lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come up on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto Elohim from the womb. And he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the land of the Philistines.
Okay, real quick. So, no, keep going. What is he doing?
Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of Elohim came unto me, and his countenance, right?
Yeah.
That's right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of Elohim. Very terrible, but I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. So basically, what's going on? Somebody came to a man's wife and told her, my bad, that she's gonna bear a son, and she needs to make sure everything she's doing is clean, and he's gonna be a Nazarite, right? So I got a question for you. What does the name Dan mean?
I don't have the concordance.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. I'll just say, so the name Danite. So there's a few things interesting about Danites. Okay. So the Danites were originally the tribe that was supposed to be judges in Israel. They were the judge tribe. That's what their whole job was basically supposed to be. Let me see if it gives you the definition. Yeah, Dan literally means a judge. It's literally what the name Dan. So a Danite is a judge. That's why they were the judge tribe. Now, does anybody know the prophecy about what was supposed to happen to, or what was going to happen with the Danites in Genesis?
No, I never heard of it.
Okay. So click that. Okay, so let's go to Genesis 49.
Are we coming back to Judges, or that's all?
Yeah, you can say that. I'll go. You say
no,
that.
I want to go too because I bookmarked it.
Okay. So we're gonna go to Genesis 49, and when you get there, read verses 16 through 19.
All right. 49 and 16. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way. Yeah, be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall back. I have waited for thy salvation. Yeah, oh yeah. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Okay, so notice now, we know that the name Dan is the name Dan. The prophecy about them is that they will be a serpent.
Hold on, bro. It's a big lag. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Not a lag, I mean a big echo.
Yeah.
So it's either one of y'all mics picking up the other mic. So y'all might have to separate rooms.
Oh, we're not in the same room.
A whole different room.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, because I can hear Manny twice, I can hear myself twice. I only heard you once.
You say you can hear yourself twice?
Yeah.
Turn the mic down.
Okay, how about this? Joey, will you use your mic real quick? Let me see if I can get it.
What'd you say?
I'm going to try to mute you.
Man, are you using like an external speaker or something?
No, I'm using my headset.
Is the speaker coming through your computer and the headset?
No.
Okay. Whatever you did, it fixed it. Like I don't hear the echo no more.
I know. I'm muted this mic, so whenever Jim's going to talk, I'm just going to mute my mic. So we'll just have to keep doing that. Okay. So again, Dan, the name Danite means to be a judge tribe. The prophecy was that there would be a snake in the way. They were supposed to be able to keep Israelites in order. That's what a judge does. They judge things, and Most High, He loves judgments. So the next scripture we need to go to is 1 Kings, and I'll just go there real quick. It's 1 Kings 3, and I'm going to read verse 9. It says, "Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people?" So it is a heavy task to be able to judge righteously. So with that being said, we know that the woman at least her husband and her child is going to be a Danite. So let's see if we actually get to see the traits of what a judge should be. Things like discernment, things like, diligently seeking the Most High, not leaning to your own understanding, not being controlled by your lust and desires. Okay, so let's go back to Judges 13.
All right. You ready? Y'all ready?
Yep.
All right, we on 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he said unto me, behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink nor wine, nor strong drink, neither eat anything unclean, any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to Elohim from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated Yah and said, O Yah, let the man of Elohim which thou didst send come again unto us and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. And Elohim hearkened to the voice of Manoah,
Manoah.
and the angel, Manoah, and the angel of Elohim came unto the woman as she sat in the field, but Manoah, her husband, was not with her. And the woman made haste and ran and shewed her husband and said unto him, behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came unto me the other day.
Okay, so real quick now, what just happened?
So he prayed and asked for the, for the Most High to send that man again so he can hear it for himself. Am I right or am I right?
No, yeah. You
And
right.
so his prayer was answered, and he came unto the woman. And so she went, once he came, she went to go get her husband.
Okay, but he was the one that prayed, though.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
All right. Okay. And Elohim hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of Elohim came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. Her husband was not okay. One made haste. I'm on 11. Okay. And Manoah arose and went after his wife and came to the man and said unto him, art thou the man that spaketh unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him?
So I'm gonna stop you right there. So we're just gonna keep doing a recap. So initially, the angel comes to the wife, right?
Yep.
And he tells her, well, what does he tell her? She can't eat or drink anything unclean or razor come up on his head because her son is going to be a Nazarite. So then Manoah prays to the Most High to have the same angel come back to let them know what they should do. Okay. Okay, just making sure. Okay, keep going.
And the angel of Yah said unto Manoah, of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe. And Manoah said,
I know I'm stopping a lot. My bad. So
no,
I'm gonna go to So I'm gonna go to number 6. I guess I'll start at I'm gonna start at verse 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow, a vow of a Nazarite to separate themselves unto Yahuwah. He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar, or strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dried. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled in the which he separated himself unto Yahuwah. He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. All the days that he separated himself unto Yahuwah, he shall come as no dead body. He shall not make himself unclean to his father or for his mother, for his father or for his mother, for his brother or for his sister, when they die, because the consecration of his Elohim is upon his head. All the days of the separation he is holy unto Yahuwah. And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he hath defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the seventh day he shall shave it. And on the eighth day he shall bring 2 turtle doves with 2 young pigeons to the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So I'm just gonna stop there. But now this is in Numbers, right? So all this stuff happened, the vow of the Nazarite, all those decrees happened before the time of the judges. So the Most High, how do I want to put this? The Most High had told them, had already given them instructions on what the vow of the Nazarite is. I'm only saying that just so you can see. Now, what does Danite mean? What does the word Dan mean?
To be a judge.
To be a judge. Now, what did the angel tell Manoah's wife?
To not eat anything unclean, to not drink strong drink or wine,
And no
and not to
razor
cut
shall come upon his head.
his hair.
Okay. And that's written, especially back in those days, that was in Numbers. So
Yeah,
once he heard those certain things from the woman, he should have known that that was a what?
a law.
Right, of the vow of the Nazarite. So,
Yeah,
and the word Dan means to do what?
to judge.
Okay. I'm going to read 1 Kings 3 and verse 9 one more time. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? Okay. My bad. I'm just trying to lay some groundwork. My bad. So let's go back to Judges 13.
All right. On 13. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto Manoah, of all that I have said unto the woman, let her beware. She might not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yah, I pray thee, let us detain thee until we shall have made ready a kid for thee. And the angel of Yah said to Manoah, though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto Yah. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of Yah.
Okay. So what does Dan mean?
To be a judge.
Okay. 1 Kings 3 verse 9. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? So right now, is Manoah acting like a judge?
No,
Is he able to discern things?
he's not.
Because literally, when the angel told his wife the things that she do, it should
Oh,
automatically pop into his head. That's the vow of a Nazarite.
so
It should
okay.
be right there.
So what I'm thinking? Well, okay, never mind. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, because I'm assuming, because the angel did say like what like basically he was like, okay, what did I tell her? Like I told her already, right?
Yep.
So is Manoah not of a Danite? Like if it's just his wife that's a Danite?
No, He's a Danite because even if you click, I know you don't have your concordance. If you click on the name of Noah, it says a Danite, father of. Well, I'm not gonna say he's a father. I'm not sure if you read this yet, or it's probably been a while since you read it. My bad. But he's a father, but it does say he's a Danite. He's a Danite, and that's why I was saying make sure you're paying attention because the angel kind of responded to Manoah in a certain type of way. Everything that I told your wife is what's basically what y'all should be doing. Because it shouldn't be that big of a deal because it's the vow of Nazarite. There's already a law for it.
Yeah.
You're right. Hold on.
You know,
All right, June, unmute yourself, and I'll mute my mic. Unmute yourself, and I'll mute my mic. I told. Well, yeah, I muted you.
but if y'all in separate rooms, why is our mics conflicting?
Good question, bro. I mean, we're all learning how to use it, so that's a question I don't have an answer to right now. Hold on. I'll do it, June. So I'm gonna unmute you. Go ahead, June.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Judges 13 verse 2 says, and there was a certain man of Zorah, whose name was Manoah.
Oh, it did say that.
Yeah. So verse 2 tells you that Manoah is a Danite. Yeah.
Okay.
You put me back on you.
No, it's good. I don't hear no echo right now.
Okay, if it comes back to that, then we'll do it then. But let's go back to the slide. Okay. Now, so do I want to keep going or do I want to go to the next? I'm not gonna ask you that. Why is it keep doing that?
What you trying to do?
My bad. No, my bad. Keep reading.
Oh, I thought you said you was going to see. Okay. Okay. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yah, what is thy name? That when thy sayings come to pass, we may do the honor. And the angel of Yah said unto him, why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret? So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering and offered it upon a rock unto Yah, and the angel did wondrously. And Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, the angel of Yah ascended into the flame of the altar, and Manoah and his wife looked on it and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of Yah did no more appear to Manoah and his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was the angel of Yah. And Manoah said unto his wife, we shall surely die because we have seen Elohim.
Okay, so we're going to stop right there. Yeah, we're going to stop right there. So, again, I'm going to keep hammering this. Dan, the name Dan means to be a judge. Now, I'm going to jump back to verse, what verse was that? I'm going to jump back to verse 2. And there was a certain man of Zorah of the family of the Danites whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of Yahuwah appeared unto the woman and said unto her, behold, now thou art barren and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not anything unclean. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto Elohim from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Yasharel out of the hand of the Philistines. Now, verse 6 is the point. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of Elohim came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel or of a malach. In Hebrew, the word is malach, of Elohim, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name. So his wife could discern that it was an angel, but Manoah couldn't discern it until he left. Now, which one does it seem like he's very, let's see, does he seem like he's judge material to you, Manoah?
Nah.
Because for one, he couldn't discern that there was a man of Elohim or a malach or an angel. And then for two, he entreats the Most High. So the same angel can come back and tell them the exact same thing so they would know what to do in order for the child when the Most High had already told them what to do. And how we know that the Most High, even the angel, weren't really trying to deal with Manoah was once Manoah entreated the Most High, what does it say happened in verse 10? Verse 9. I'll go to verse 8. Then Manoah entreated Yahuwah and said, "O my master, let the man of Elohim which thou didst send come again unto us and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born." And Elohim hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of Elohim came unto the woman, and she sat in the field, but Manoah, her husband, was not with her. So even when the Most High was entreated of by Manoah, the angel still didn't go back to Manoah. He went out to the field where the woman was at. And then the wife had to do what? She had to go get the husband, and then they both had to come out there. So just pay attention, because as we keep going, you'll start seeing that certain things, like that's why we got to make sure that we're being as truthful, as honest, and as diligent as we can when seeking the time. Because things can literally get passed down to our children through ignorance, through disobedience, through laziness. I just wanted to delay that. My bad. Keep going.
All right. Where we at?
Oh, okay. There was one more thing. Okay. So there was one thing that's really interesting in verse 16. And the malach or angel of Yahuwah said unto Manoah, thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread, but if thou wilt offer a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto Yahuwah. For Manoah knew not that he was a malach of Yahuwah. So what does it mean when it says, I will not eat of thy bread?
Because he was sacrificing that bread for the angel and not Yahuwah.
Right. So that was one thing, because the angels making sure, hey, if you're going to sacrifice anything, you do it to the Most High.
And the angel wasn't going to eat of it because of one of YAH'S commandments. You don't eat of anything sacrificed for anyone else other than him.
True. Good point. But in this context, it actually means, Lord, no, actually, no, you're right on that. You are completely right on that. But there's something else I'm looking for in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me find it real quick.
It's not about the covenant, like making the covenant, because a lot of times, like when you break bread with your brother.
That's exactly it. He was later saying, because he wouldn't even tell them his name, because he said it's a secret. But if you actually look at that word secret, what was that word for secret means incomprehensible, extraordinary, remarkable. But he wasn't going to let him, because why would he tell him his name when he wouldn't eat of his bread? Because I'm going to show you an account in Genesis. Let me find it. Okay, so this says, let's go to Genesis 18.
You said 13 or 18?
18.
All right. What verse?
Okay, June, start at verse 1, please, if you don't mind.
And Yahuwah appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he sat in the tent door in the heat. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them in the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. Where you want me to read to?
Just keep going.
And said, my Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet and rest yourselves under. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, so do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened to the tent unto Sarah, and said, make ready quickly 3 measures of wine, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender, and gave it to a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them.
Hold on, Joe. Hey, Joe. Let me read it because your mic keeps cutting out.
Okay.
Dan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I'm gonna start back at 3. I'm gonna start back at 3. It said, my master, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, to my servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread. Now, in Judges 13, the angel said that he wouldn't eat the bread, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And comfort you your hearts after that you pass on, for therefore are you come to your servant. And they said, so do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran unto the herd and fetched a calf, tender and good. Because remember, even in Judges 13, it wasn't just bread. They were going to make a meat offering as well. And gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk and the calf, which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. So wait. So if you know about this account in Genesis, Scripture says that it's Yahuwah and 2 angels basically, but no man has actually seen Yahuwah. So more accurately, it was the manifestation of Yahuwah, which is Yahusha. You know this, or whatnot. But you see how in Genesis, the Most High through Yahusha actually ate the bread and of the meat offering. So he actually came in covenant with them. But the angel would not do the same thing in Judges 13. Even if you go to the New Testament, before what they try to say the Lord's Supper, but during the Passover, what did Yahushua say? Eat of my bread, then drink of the cup of my blood.
Mm-hmm.
So that's covenant talk. So anytime you see that, we just always gotta remember that's covenant talk. But for some reason, like this angel would not eat with Manoah. Wasn't happening. What you're gonna do is like you can burn the offering to the Most High, but I'm not coming in covenant with you. An angel would not come in covenant with a judge. So again, now this is the father of the child. So keep that in your mind as we keep going. So now we can go back to Judges 13. Did that make sense, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to remember, man. You talking to like-minded brothers. I'll be like I'll be getting your points all the time.
I'm always playing on the people don't see things the way I can too.
Yeah. Well, outside of the scripture, I don't know what you be talking about, but I get you. Where we at?
Fine. We're on 20, I think.
No, we passed 20.
We're on 23.
Yeah.
Read 22. Read 22 so we can remember that point.
And Manoah said unto his wife, we shall surely die, because we have seen Elohim. But his wife said unto him, if Yah were pleased to kill us, he would not have received a burnt offering and a meat offering at our hands. Neither would he have showed us all these things, nor would at this time he told us such things of these. Of the woman bore a son and called his name Samson, and the child grew, and the master blessed him. And the spirit of the master began to move in him at times in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol. That's right. Hello?
Eshtaol, yeah.
Eshtaol.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, but we're gonna go to the next chapter. But so again, the name Dan means to be a judge. The prophecy was that Dan would judge his people, but he would also be a serpent in the way. A serpent in the way. Now, serpents can be very wise, but they're also very sneaky, very subtle. So you kind of got to remember that whenever you hear a Danite's name come up, because they can either be, a really good judge, or they can be the reason why you slip and fall. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So we're going over that. Okay, so who remembers the title of the lesson today?
I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know it all, but it was keep thy foot.
Right. It's keep thy foot when walking through the valley of choice vines, lest in your Sabbath place you be made feeble and die. Okay. Keep thy foot when walking through choice vines, through the valley of choice vines, lest in your Sabbath place you be made feeble and die. Okay. Just trying to put that in your memory. So, again, so we've already gone over this. Why didn't the angel, come before or appear to Manoah? Because he doesn't really have discernment. He's not very judgely, if that's even a word, or shapatly. And Manoah couldn't discern that it was a what? It was an actual angel of the Most High. He thought that was a regular man. It was covenant talk because the angel would not eat of his bread. The angel said it was a secret, incomprehensible, extraordinary, right? So we're going to start getting into where the actual title of the lesson came into here in a little bit. But let me make sure. Right. So let's go to Judges 14.
All right. And Samson went down to Timnath, and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and mother said unto him, if there were never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistine. And Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleases me well.
Okay. So now his father and mother were both like, why are you trying to get a wife from someone that is uncircumcised, especially as a Philistine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we remember, the title, keep thy foot when walking through the valley of choice vines, when in your Sabbath place of rest you be made feeble and die. Okay, real quick. So who knows what Manoah means?
You said it was the father of something.
Well, Dan was the father of the tribes, or of the tribe of the Dan, like the Danites, right? But Manoah was the father of Samson. We just found out who this is. But Manoah, the name Manoah means it's H4494. It means resting place. So think about the title. Keep thy foot when walking through the valley of choice vines, lest when you're in your resting place, you be made feeble and die. So Manoah means Sabbath because that's actually Manoah, or that's actually closer to what Noah's name actually was, Noach. But it means a Sabbath or a resting place. Now, we know that he was supposed to be a judge, but he didn't have discernment. He thought he was going to die after the angel said that they were going to bear a child, and he was going to be a Nazarite, make sure there's no razor that comes upon his head. But he thought that the Most High was going to kill them after that, after telling them that. It doesn't really sound like he was it doesn't really seem like there was a lot of shalom around him. The Sabbath means like a place of rest, like shalom, peace, right?
Yeah.
Noah. So I just wanted to bring that up. Let's keep going though.
Okay. Boom. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of Yahuwah. Hold on. But his father and mother knew not that it was of Yah that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at the Philistines
Bam, you cut out.
and his mother and came into the yards of Tuneth, and behold, a young lion warred against them. And the spirit of Yah came mightily upon him, and he went and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done.
So now, when you take the vow of Nazarite and you're living to that, the Most High can, like the Holy Spirit can really get upon you. You will do superhuman feats. Like this is Samson. Like this is, who we are. What the capabilities that the Most High has put in us. But he literally just rent a lion like it was nothing with his bare hands. Bro. Talk about strong, a lion. And notice how it says that he didn't tell his parents about what he had done. So let's just keep going.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out where I was at.
7.
Okay, boom. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And after a time, he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hand and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told them not. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of a lion. So his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for so used the young men to do. What? Okay, I guess it's right. It ain't sound right, but okay. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets, 30 change of garments. 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. But if ye cannot declare it me, then shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, put forth thy riddle. that we may hear it. And he said unto them, out of the eater come forth meat, out of the strong come forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife, how long? Where he get a wife from?
Well, because that's why everybody came there, because that was like the ceremony basically for the wedding.
Oh, so they let him marry the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. They kept that. They really skipped that part. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Samson's wife, entice thy husband, that he sent, that he may declare unto us the riddle. Lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have you called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him and said, Thou doest but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and shall I tell thee? And shall I tell it thee? And she wept before him the 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. And the men of the city said unto him, on the 7th day before the sun, hold 1 second, before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, if ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found my wood. That man great.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit of Yah came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men. Wow. And slew 30 men of them, and took their spoils, and gave change of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as a friend.
So now we remember in Genesis that the prophecy about Dan would be there would be a serpent in the way. So we remember earlier in this chapter where it talks about how he went to lion basically like he was a kid and just ripped it apart.
Yeah.
And he comes back later and notices that there is a honeycomb, or that there's bees and honey in there, right? The word there is Zora, this hornet's nest or whatever. And why did it say? I found it interesting that it said that he didn't tell his parents about it. Now, as a Nazarite, he's not supposed to touch a dead body, is he? We read that earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, see, that's what
go ahead.
And when they say carcass, because like I said, they wear carcass for some reason. Every chance I read and I see carcass, always bad.
Yep.
And like I said, so when I seen that carcass, like you said, I remember, like you said, it don't supposed to touch a dead body. Like even like it said something like even if his brother died beside him, like like basically his vow was done.
Yeah.
So it was serious. Like you don't supposed to encounter death basically at all.
Right. And then we know that even though that the animal didn't die of itself, but we know that we're not supposed to eat, of the flesh of a lion, right? That's not a clean thing for us to eat or touch. So not only did he grab the honey from that thing, he gave it to his parents, so he made them unclean as well. You see what I'm saying? And he didn't tell them.
And he knew. That's the crazy part, because he knew. That's why he didn't tell them. Exactly. He knew. Exactly. Wow, I never knew this about Samson, because all the stories I heard about Samson, he was a great, mighty man until he met Delilah. That was it.
So, real quick, can you go back to read verse 3 for me?
Sure. 14 verse 3. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistine? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleases me well.
Okay. So now he's in love with this woman based off the lust of his eyes. So we're going to go to Proverbs 5. And Jim, when you get that, can you read verses 3 through 5?
The lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell.
So death follows a strange woman. It's interesting that it talks about a honeycomb, because wouldn't that what just Samson just got done doing? Being very crafty like a snake, eating the honey, giving it to his parents, making them unclean, which is being unclean before the Most High is actually like being an abomination to the Most High. So, June, jump down to read verses 10 through 17. And also in verse 4, it talks about, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. This, her feet go down to death, her steps take hold on hell. So you got to be careful with strange, attractive women. Keep going, my bad.
June.
I got it. I got it. So I'm jumping down to verse 10. Let strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger. And thou mourn at the last when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. Now, verse 10 says, let strangers be filled with thy wealth. Did his wife end up getting given to one of his friends, his companions, and after he went to get the garments? Okay.
Yep.
And thou mourn at the last when thy flesh and thy body are consumed, and say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined mine ear to them that instructed me. I was almost in an even in the midst of the congregation and assembly. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of water in the streets. Let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. So, his spouse, his wife, she got given to another, even though that was his wife. And strangers took her because, well, they already had her ear because she told them the riddle. So Samson had to go kill 30 people to get them the garments. But what does it mean to drink from your own cistern?
That I don't know. I don't even know what the cistern is.
It's just like it'd be a different type of a cup or something to drink out of back in the day. So if it's telling you to drink from your own cistern, it's fine. It's fine. I'll jump down to verses 20 through 23 real quick.
I get it.
What is
Oh, yeah. Mute June mic again because it's echoing.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's saying drink out of your own. So it's just basically like, your own. Like, don't be in nobody else's stuff. It's a drink out of thy own cistern and running water out of thy own well. right?
Could be.
That's what
Could
I'm
be.
saying.
So I'm gonna read verses 20 through 23 in Proverbs. I'm still in Proverbs 5. I'm gonna read verses 20 through 23. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman? Remember, we're talking about a strange woman. Who is Samson married to?
A Philistine, a strange woman,
Mm-hmm. And
not
embrace the
equally yoked.
bosom. Mm-hmm. And embrace the bosom of a stranger. For the ways of man are before the eyes of Elohim, of Yahuwah, and he pondereth all his goings. His own iniquity shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sins. He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. So, a strange woman. Is Samson, is he married to a strange woman?
Yes,
What makes her strange?
because she is a Philistine, and from my understanding, they was the oppressors of the Israelites of Israel at the time,
They were.
and no that, but they were not of the chosen people.
Right. So,
So, like I said, they was
just
unequally yoked, which makes her.
exactly. But I don't want to say now. What you gonna say? It makes sense. So basically, drink from your own system means to marry someone of your own people. That way, you're not unequally yoked. Because especially like in today's age, which no one, I mean, I'm not saying you can't marry someone outside of your own race or nation of people, but like you said, we can't be unequally yoked. So if they're going to do it, then they have to be willing to follow the laws, statutes, commandments, and believe in the faith of what Yahushua did. Because we can't keep getting into these relationships with beautiful women of other nations that won't submit and want to try to take us into strange Elohims. So the strange woman, because she's serving a strange Elohim as well. So it's not just someone that's of a strange seed, because it could be someone that's our own people, but that are into witchcraft, Satanism, all that lesbianism, all that other kind of stuff, strangeness, strange doctrine. So let's jump down to verse 11 and read that again.
6 and 11 or 5 and 11?
Proverbs 14 and 11. Not Proverbs, Judges, my bad, Judges.
Let me go back to it. 14 and 11. It reads, hold on, just turn the page. And we read,
Mm-hmm.
and it came to pass, when they saw him, they brought 30 companions to be with him. Keep going.
No, that's fine. 30 companions to be with him. Now, remember, he ends up having to kill 30 people to get them the 30 garments, right? Because he gave them all a riddle and said he'd get them all garments or whatever. They could solve this riddle. Why did he have to end up going to kill all those people to get these guys the riddle? What was the reason?
The reasoning was because he told his wife,
Mm-hmm.
she told one of her people,
Mm-hmm.
which was the guys who he was the riddle to,
Right.
and then she told them. And then after that, she ended up leaving with one of them. Well, ended up being, she was given to one of his companions. So he had to pay his debt. And all started because he was with the wrong woman, so to speak.
Right. So I'm gonna go to Proverbs 2, and I'm gonna read verses 11 through 18. Because remember, okay, what does the term Danite mean?
To be a judge, to discern.
Judge. And as a judge, you can't just go telling everybody all kinds of information willy-nilly. You got to be able to keep your mouth closed and use a word called discretion, right? Okay. So Proverbs 2, verse 11. Discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and they froward in their path, to deliver thee from a strange woman, even from a stranger which flattereth with her words. So that's what she did. She kept, oh, you don't love me. If you love me, you would tell me this. If you love me, you would tell me that. Which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her Elohim. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. So a strange woman's ear is inclined unto death. Her ways are inclined unto death, and her paths all lead to death. Just remember that, because we're gonna in the next chapter you're gonna see all of this. Okay, real quick, jump down to verse 15. And Judges.
Judges 14 and 15.
Yes, sir.
All right. Boom, boom, boom. And it reads, and they come to pass on the seventh day that they said unto Samson's wife, entice thou her, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father. Wow, so it's making sense now. I didn't get that at first when I was reading. I didn't get that at all. Like, it's just like I read that and didn't understand none of that. Why? All right. Lest thou burn thy father's house. Burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have you called us to take that we have? Is it not so? Wow.
So remember, the strange woman, her ear, her paths, her ways are all inclined to death or hell. So I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. Because we know how mighty of a man that the Most High had made Samson. So if he would have told him that they were threatening to kill her and her father about the riddle, he would have defended him. Now, a clamorous woman, the word clamorous means to murmur, growl, roar, cry aloud, mourn, rage, sound, make noise, be clamorous, be disquieted, be loud, be moved, be troubled. She was troubled by that, right? And then she started to trouble Samson about it. So just remember that. And so I'm gonna go to Proverbs 6 real quick, and I'm just gonna read verses 23 through 26. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life, to keep thee from the evil woman. So, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life, to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. So, as a judge, what do judges keep? Whenever you go to the court or whatever, judges, they have to rule by the what?
The law.
The law. Samson is the judge of Israel at this point in time. He's supposed to be the one that is the light to all of Israel, right? The Most High raised him up to be a Yasha or a savior to the Israelites. But he's not keeping to the law, because what did his eyes do? They fell for this strange woman. And what does Proverbs say about a strange woman?
She's foolish.
Exactly. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty in thine heart. Did Samson's parents not ask him, why are you, trying to get this uncircumcised Philistine woman? And he said, she pleases me well because what he was lusting after his eyes. Now
Yeah.
does it seem like he's acting like a judge because he's not drinking from his own cistern either? He's trying to go outside of his own people to an uncircumcised. Because you could marry a Philistine, but there could be a Philistine woman that may have been willing to completely change her life and follow your Elohim. That's the way it's got to be. Because the woman takes your last name, you don't take the woman's. But no, he was just trying to, love his oppressor. Scripture tells us to what? Envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. And lust not after her beauty and thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Right? So I just wanted to read that really quick. So now we can go to, if I'm not mistaken, we can go ahead and jump to the next thing. Okay, so now we're finally there. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the title, Keep Thy Foot When Walking Through the Valley of Choice Vines, lest when in your Sabbath place of rest you be made feeble and die. So again, what does keep thy foot mean?
To stay on the path.
So to stay on the path, right? Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay.
For 400.
June, what does keep thy foot mean?
You got to mute it.
No, it's not.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, what you say? What does keep thy foot mean?
Right.
Basically, to sum it all up in terms of the day, stay in your own lane.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's all go to Ecclesiastes 5, and June, when you get there, can you read verse 1?
5 verse 1.
Yep.
Hold on, y'all. I got to get to it. I don't know where Ecclesiastes is at.
I ain't there
Don't
yet.
judge me.
It's right after Proverbs. It's right after Proverbs.
Y'all ain't no Danites. Don't judge me.
I don't want to be one of those Danites. Not after
Ecclesiastes, what is? Okay, I see it. 5 and 1.
5 and verse. Mm-hmm.
All right. Go ahead, my brother.
If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province.
Where you at?
You said 5 and 8, right?
5 and 1.
5 and 1? Oh, I was reading 8. All right, y'all ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil.
So what does keep thy foot mean?
Hold on.
Bam, read verse 2.
Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few.
So what does keep thy foot mean?
To hold your tongue.
Hold your tongue. It means to, what the Proverbs talk about, use discretion.
Yeah.
Hold your tongue. Because if Samson would have held his tongue, those times would never got the riddle, he wouldn't have had to kill 30 people. He wouldn't have lost his wife. But he didn't keep his foot.
Oh. Gotcha.
He didn't keep thy foot. So I'm gonna
That
go.
was concordance.
Huh?
Oh, I was gonna say if that was the concordance or foot. What is that saying?
No, that's a foot, but that's a keep thy foot. That's an old school Hebrew idiom or
Oh,
jargon slang. Like we say, man, that foot was slapping. We don't really mean the foot was slapping. You know what I'm saying?
gotcha.
Yep. So I'm gonna read because we like the precept thing. So I'm gonna go to Proverbs 13 and just read verse 3. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth his lips shall have destruction. Read that again. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth his wide his lips shall have destruction. So, keeping thy foot keeps you alive. I'm gonna go to Proverbs 21 verse 23. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Because a lot of times we be getting ourselves into situations and circumstances because we're letting too many people know what's going on in our life. We don't know. They could be in the witchcraft, waiting for us to slip up so they know what to pray to their false Elohim about, their idol about, what to sacrifice to about. Or it could just be somebody that's waiting for any occasion to try to get at your girl, or to try to make you lose your job. Because people, they can smile on your face, but a lot of them are snakes behind your back. Snakes.
Backstabbers.
So what does keep thy foot mean?
To hold thy tongue.
Shut your mouth.
Because whoever keeps his foot, that's why how they say you put your foot in your mouth. Think about it. We even use that today. Oh yeah, you just put your foot in your mouth. Why? Because you were talking too much. You ain't got no business saying that. People do not need to know everything that you have going on. And especially in this day and age with social media and everything else, we've got to learn to control our tongue. Like again, it's not everybody's business. The title, Keep That Fit, we're walking through the valley of choice vines. I bet I had to pop my neck. Keep that fit. Oh. All right. My bad. So keep that fit. We know what that means. It's found in Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 1. So what did Manoah's name mean?
To be resting place.
Right, Sabbath. So rest, Sabbath. So keep our foot when walking in the valley, through the valleys of choice vines, lest in your Sabbath place you be made feeble and die. You made feeble and die. Just remember that. Because everything, it's crazy how everything can end up being tied into everything. So let's go ahead and go to 15.
Judges 15?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, it's 16 on the slide. 15 to 16. Make your mind up.
I don't know why I did that. Did it invert itself again? Yeah, probably. Yeah, but we got to get to 5th. We got to get through 15 to get to 16. So we're good.
Gotcha. All right. But when it came to pass within y'all, are y'all there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But when it came to pass within a while after, at the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said, I will go in to my wife into the chamber. But her father would not suffer him to go in. And her father said, I verily thought that thou hadst utterly hated her. Therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. And Samson said concerning them, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes and took and took firebrands and turned tail to tail, and turned tail to tail, and put a firebrand in the midst of, between two tails. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
And put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the, what is that? Standing corn. I'm tripping. Into the standing corn of the Philistines, and burnt up both the shocks and all the standing corn, with the vineyards and olives. Then the Philistines said, "Who hath done this?" And they answered, "Samson, the son-in-law of Timnite, the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion." And the Philistines came up and burned her and her father with fire. Wow. And Samson said unto,
all this happened because Samson couldn't keep his mouth closed. His wife got taken. And remember it said in Proverbs, it talked about how a strange woman's ear and her ways are both inclined to death and to hell. What just happened to her and her father?
They got set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. It's just like by him not doing what he's supposed to do,
Right.
all this stuff is coming down. And the things
he wasn't a judge.
Yeah. And not only that, and the things that this woman, like she did all this to make him do what he shouldn't have been doing, and still got the same result.
Yep.
Wow. All right. And Samson said unto them, "Though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease." And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter. And he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock, Etam. Is it right, Edom?
Yep.
Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah and spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said, "Why are ye come up against us?" And they answered, "To bind Samson. Are we come up to him as he has done to us?" Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of rock Edom, and said unto Samson, "Knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What is this that thou hast done unto us?" And he said unto them, "As they did unto me, so I have done unto them." And they said unto him, We are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hand of the Philistines. And Samson said unto them, "Swear unto me that ye will not fall upon me yourselves." And they spake unto him, saying, "No, but we will bind thee fast and deliver thee into their hand, but surely we will not kill thee." And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the spirit of Elohim came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arm became as flat, that was burnt with fire, and his bands loosed from his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men with therewith. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of an ass have I slain 1,000 men. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called that place Ramath Lehi.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sore athirst. Oh, and he was sore athirst, and he called on Yah and said, "Thou hast given me the great deliverance into the hand of thy servant, and now shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised, but Elohim clave and hollow place, and was in the jaw. That was in the jaw, and there came up water thereout. And when he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revived. Wherefore he called the name thereof Enhakor, and Akori. Right, yeah. Enhakori. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is in Lehi until this day. And he judged Israel in those days of the Philistine 20 years.
So he still judged 20 years, and even after all the stuff that he did, the Most High still, his spirit would still be with him. He would still be a judge or a Danite to the Israelites. So let's see the conclusion of the story.
Hold on, brother. Pause the mic.
I got you.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, it still got an echo.
Mm-hmm.
I know it don't. No, it don't. It fixed. All right.
So just remember, like, even as sometimes wicked as Samson was, the Most High Spirit would still be with him. So, like, you remember how we always had this conversation with people, and, like, they're always, I don't want to say that they always say it, but a lot of times they claim that they have the Holy Spirit, this and that. Well, you could be doing wicked, and the Most High can still allow his Holy Spirit to come up in you, like, at his will, because you're still going to perform his will no matter what. And so,
no matter. And I was just thinking it. I was literally just thinking that. Like, soon as I got the ring, I'm like, so out of all his man wrongdoing, the Most High still allowed his spirit to be upon him, and he provided what he needed.
right.
So, and I don't want people, you know what I mean, to take this as like, well, if as long as I got favor on my life, I can do what I want. That's not the case. That's not the case. I don't know. It might be the case, might not be the case. In this case, it happened like that for Samson, but he had to go through a lot of unnecessary because of it. But yeah, like, hey, child, what you doing?
Put my socks in here.
Why are your socks? Put your socks back on your feet. This floor is cold. Don't take those socks off. Ain't no carpet in this house. Okay, you can take it now. I'm still on the phone.
Huh?
Go in there with it. Take your socks in there and put them on. Big head self. Close the door. Yeah, but anywho,
Mm-hmm.
we on 8, brother.
Huh?
We on slide 8.
Okay, that's fine. We're going to finish the story now in 16. So just read verse 1.
Then when Samson to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and he went unto her. So he love women. He just can't stop.
Yep.
And he went unto her. All right.
So that's sex. So. Okay, so let's go June. Can you go to Proverbs? Are we reading it all? I think we're reading all of 7. Yeah. Can you read Proverbs 7? I'll mute my mic and talk after.
Let me.
June.
Yeah.
Oh.
So let me know when y'all ready.
Oh, yeah, I ain't hear you.
All right. My son, Keep my words and lie up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers. Write them upon the table of thine heart. Unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones. I discerned among the youths and young men void of understanding. Passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and his face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee diligently, to seek thy face. And have found thee. And have
What are y'all doing, man?
tapped
Why y'all don't go down in the garage and do it?
works with fine.
Y'all don't do that. Y'all don't hurt. Y'all, somebody don't get hurt. But listen, y'all don't first time, but y'all both loud.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
What?
Where you at? I had to step out. Man, them kids acting crazy, bro. What verse you at? Hello?
$13. He's gonna start back at 13, man.
No, I heard, I read, I was all the way. Yeah, okay, 13, cool. All right.
All right. So she called him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee diligently, to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home, he is gone a long journey. He hath taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasted to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths, for she hath cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men, have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death.
So this strange woman, her past, again, her ears, everything she does is inclined to hell. Literally is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. She's cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. So I just wanted to read that before we kept going, because it's all gonna come to a head in this chapter. So, Bam, you can go ahead and yeah. Go ahead. We're on verse 2 now.
And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither, and they compassed him in, and lay wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gates of the city, and the two posts, and went away with him, put them up,
You're cutting
and
out.
put them up. Hold on. What you say?
No, keep going. My bad.
And put them up on his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of the hill that is before Hebron. And it came to pass afterwards that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
Okay, so we're actually gonna stop right there real quick. So, Bam, what is the title?
Keep thy foot in choice vine. I can't see it, but
Okay, I'll go
keep
back
thy
to it.
foot.
I'll go back to it. Hold on. Well, no. Not what I meant. Not what I meant. Don't do it.
All right, keep thy foot when walking through the valley of choice vines, lest in your Sabbath place you be made feeble and die.
Okay, so real quick. So we know that keep thy foot means to do what?
Hush your mouth.
There you go. Okay. So now when walking through the valley of choice vines. So in verse 4, I guess I'll just go to the slide since you don't have the concordance, because I would just have you read it if you had it. Okay, so in verse 4, it says that, and it came to pass that he loved a woman in the valley of what?
Sorek.
So rec actually means choice vines. So keep thy foot when walking through, and I put in the valley of because in the valley of the shadow of death, because the strange woman, her path leads to what, hell or death.
Yeah.
So keep thy foot when walking through the valley of the shadow of Sorek. Now, what's really crazy is, what does Delilah mean? Do you know?
Yeah, I was reading it. It means to be feeble. I was reading ahead on the slide.
Okay, there you go. So, so then how would the title go? So you over cheating over here, whatever. So Delilah means to be feeble. So right now we got to keep our foot or guard your mouth when walking through the valley of choice vines, which is Sorek. Lest in your, what was the word for Sabbath?
Manoah.
Lest in your Manoah you be made what?
Feeble and die.
What means, what is feeble? What was the name that means feeble?
Delilah.
And die.
So what does feeble mean? That means weak, right?
Yep.
That's crazy. You know what? See, that's why I be telling people, like, if you don't know these things, because when he got with Delilah, of course we're gonna learn more about this in the story, but when he got with this woman, that's when she cut his hair and made him weak.
Right. Right.
But like I said, that's why I said these names are so important, and people want to just throw these names away. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, it means the same. No, it don't. Like this name, like you said, you basically just used all these names or these Hebrew names or whatnot,
Yep.
and made a title
Yep.
of a whole lesson, bro. And like I said, unless you know these things, you wouldn't know these things. Unless you taught these things, you wouldn't know. I did not know what Sarek mean. I did not know what Delilah meant. Did not know what Manoah meant. And like I said, because I'm looking, I'm like, well, even keep thy foot. Reading that literally, you don't know what that means. That's like you said, that's an old Hebrew parable. Like you need to understand Hebrew and the history of Hebrew to understand it.
Right.
Or have someone teach you these things. Like people, wow, bro. Like this is like every time, bro. We were just talking every time. Like it be the Most High.
Yep. Telling you, man. So let's keep going. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna stop at verse 20. So let's read down to 20.
Hey, you're doing it again.
I know. I'm about to mute. Mike, hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead, Bam.
Read up until 20.
Yeah.
All right. And the masters of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him, wow, and see wherein his great strength lieth. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Like I said, you never knew this. Okay, anywho. But then his great strength lieth, and by that means we may prayer against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said unto Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy strength lieth, and wherein thou mightest, the mightiest, be bound to afflict thee. And Samson said unto her, if thou bind me with seven green wits that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Then the master of the Philistines brought up to her seven green wits which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait abiding with her in the chamber, and she said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he broke the wits as a thread of excuse me, as a thread of towel is broken when it is touched with fire. So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightiest be bound? And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait, and there were liars in wait abounding in the chambers. And he broke them off his arms like three. Oh, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's wrong with Samson? Something wrong with this man. And Delilah said unto Samson, Heathrow, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web, and she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him, the Philistines are upon thee, Samson. And he awakened out of his sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me where then thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, Thou hast not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto Elohim from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she went and called for the masters of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he has showed me all his heart. Then the masters of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man. And she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and he began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said, The Philistines are upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before and shake thyself. And he wished not that Yah had departed from him.
So that's why her name is Delilah. She made him feeble. She made him weak. And remember that the clamorous woman, would trouble you, was loud, would really vex your soul. It said when she pressed him, that she had vexed him unto death. That's what
He
happens
got
when
on his last nerve.
Bro, it wasn't even his last nerve. He thought he would rather die, bro. Like he's like, I'm just gonna tell you everything, just so I can have some peace. But because now, when we read in Proverbs, which I'll go back to real quick, Proverbs 6, right? Proverbs 6. And starting at verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty, and thine heart neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. So she's the adulteress in this case, figuratively, because or whatever, and she is hunting for his life because she's gonna get those 1,100 pieces of silver or whatever for his life. She's hunting for that, and because Samson is supposed to be a Danite or a judge, he's supposed to be able to discern between the clean and unclean. He should have had discernment, realized like, wait, this woman's really trying to kill me. Like, why does she want to know what my weakness is? And why does she keep trying to bind me in these weaknesses?
That's what I don't get. Like, how in the world? How can you be so crazy?
And what's really crazy is, well, not really crazy, but that a lot of times, again, things get passed on. So sins and shortcomings of the father, because his father cannot discern a man of Elohim or an angel of the Most High. He thought he was going to die after the angel told him what the Most High told him to tell him, which makes no sense. So that's what I'm saying. It got passed on from father.
Hold one second.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's it. Watch TV. I don't care who it is. That's it. Watch TV. Y'all doing too much. Bye. I don't care what y'all doing. Watch TV. Hey, bro. Take them gloves downstairs, man. Your son down here got these folks fight. They said you know, Mama.
I didn't say nothing about
These folks in here fight. See, I told them to stop. They said, G-Mama know we doing it. No, it's fine. That's crazy. I don't know, it's like 4 times. I'm almost done. All right, man. All right, y'all.
Okay. Because he couldn't discern these things, he got taken. So I'm gonna jump back to Proverbs 5 real quick, and I'm gonna read a little bit in Proverbs 5 again. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps take hold on hell. Lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life, her ways are movable, but thou canst not know them. He wasn't paying attention to the law, so he doesn't know the path of life anymore. Hear me now, therefore, O you children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. And what is Samson do? He willingly went to the strange woman, the whorish woman's house. Lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, or thy wife, and labors be in the house of a stranger. And thou mourn at the last when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. And say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined mine ear to them that instructed me. His parents told him from the get-go not to go after Philistine women. They were asking, why are you trying to go after this Philistine uncircumcised woman? I was almost in an evil in the midst of the congregation. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of water in the streets. Let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Because again, Samson, he was a judge for 20 years, and he still couldn't discern a hooker, a whore, a strange woman that's trying to take his life. How? How, Sway? You ain't got the answer, Sway.
Man.
That don't make any sense, bro. Go ahead.
It don't make sense, but for some reason, these and don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna say like whores and whatnot, but I'm just saying women in general, or how men allow women to run them. You know what I mean? And whether they doing it knowingly, whether they feel like they got it in control, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just speaking on a personal thing. Like I said, like I didn't have my dad wholeheartedly in my life because he was doing basically what he felt like his wife wanted him to do, I guess. I don't know. Because like I said, it's just the fact that he didn't take care of business. But it was because of woman. And me, for instance, you know what I mean? Like the stuff I go through. You know what I mean? It's like, how do men let these women do that to them?
I don't know. And it's really, especially like our people, like it's a plague now. And because we don't, get in the Bible, really try to figure out what the Most High is trying to say, or just read it just in general, we don't learn these proverbs. Like I'm gonna go back to Proverbs 9. I'm gonna read a few verses. Yeah, I'm probably gonna read 13 through 18 again. A foolish woman is clamorous; she is simple and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways. What did he do after his wife was killed? After he went on that killing spree, he went to a whore's house, right? Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. So only a simple-minded man would go into the way, into the house of this whore. But Samson is the head judge. He's from the judge tribe, and he's supposed to be the judge of all judges in the land of Israel. He was brought up to be a savior, a deliverer for the tribes of Israel. But it says, whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wants his understanding, she says to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that guests and that her guests are in the depths of hell. So Samson didn't even know or remember or discern that only the dead are in this woman's place. Only it literally says in Proverbs 9, verse 18, but he knoweth not that the dead are there and that her guests are in the depths of hell. So all of her guests are dead already. Samson was literally the walking dead, and he didn't even discern it. He was dead. He was already dead, and he didn't even discern it. And that's why I keep going back to these things in Proverbs, just so you can to see certain things. Because as a judge, again, Proverbs 6, verses 23 through 26, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Because if he was living in the law, he would have discerned that, this woman, she's trying to kill me. I ain't got no business, stacking up with this lady, this strange woman. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty, and that heart neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Life is precious, but he didn't love his life. He didn't. He was controlled by his urges, by his lust.
Well, you said it's like that saying, you don't love life. You can't love life.
You can't at all. And so, since we're still at 20, let me read. Do I want to read a little bit more numbers or no? Let me see. Is there anything else in number 6 that we can read about?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How many more slides we got?
2 after this one.
All right, because the food done, and they trying to eat my steak. Nah, they is.
It ain't my steak. We good. So I'm gonna go
it's mine. I deserve to want this steak.
Nah, man, you still mess with that strange woman.
Oh, I know strange woman in this house.
Let me cut it out. Let me stop. So I'm gonna go to 1 John 3, and I'm gonna read verses 4 and 5, because the law is the lamp, right? And so we know it says, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And you know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin, talking about Yahushua. But if he was focused on the law, talking about Samson, he would have been able to discern. He would have been able to be a righteous judge. He would have known, like, either I just need to not be around this one because she's literally trying to take my life. Let's go to Isaiah 59 real quick. And I'm just going to read verse 2. So, behold, I'll start at verse 1. Behold, Yahuwah's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your Elohim, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. Right? So, because Samson, he was wicked, man. He was, eating honey while touching a dead carcass and then giving it to his parents, making all of them unclean. And he was dealing deceitfully like a snake. That's what snakes do. They do stuff in a sneaky manner. That's why the prophecy about Dan is that he would be a snake in a way. And that's exactly the way he acted. And then one thing I just wanted to say about the Philistine, the word Philistine, that we keep reading about, it means immigrant. Now, we know, especially with the way that we came over here, and, they try to say that they immigrated over here, this and that, this and that. But we know their ways are strange to the Most High. They can be snakes in the way as well to keep us from being in covenant with the Most High, which once we're not in covenant with the Most High, which means we're in sin or iniquity, which means just like in Isaiah 59 and 2, which means we are separated from the Most High. So we just always got to, make sure that we're heeding to the commandments of the Most High and having faith in Yahushua always. So let's go ahead and go back to Judges 16 and verse 20. It should be on 21. We can finish this up.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
What is? Did you ever even ask me a question?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you said you had a question. I didn't remember if I answered it or not.
Yeah. I think you did. Hold on. Because I asked you, I'm like, how many more slides we got? Because I'm going to go eat.
Yeah.
Hold on. Because I had to write this down.
Write what down?
Oh, did Isaiah 59?
Okay.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh,
That alone is a whole nother
a lesson by itself. Yep.
Yeah. Now you said go back to Judges.
Yeah. Well, we're on verse 21. 16 and verse 21.
But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with feathers of brass. And he did not grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow after he had shaven. He was shaven. Oh. Then the master of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon, their God, and to rejoice. For they said, our God hath delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God. For they said, O God hath delivered unto our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they had called for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport. And then set him in between two pillars. Huh?
Okay, so, and that word sport, that means to laugh or mock. So we're in the land of immigrants, Philistines. And what do they make seem like it's the only way to get out the hood and to be successful? Sports.
To play
Because the
sports.
wealthy people are making fun of us. Because what are we doing? We're just like animals in a bigger zoo or in a bigger circus. That's what we are, and we don't even realize that. A lot of the stuff is like multi-layered, like because there is so much going on. Because you said in verse 23, you read, it says that the Sarim, because of the Philistines, that's the word that they use for Lord, Sarim, gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto the Dagon, their Elohim, right? But that word Dagon literally means fish. Now,
You said fish?
It means fish. It means a fish. Now, if you look into the different idols or symbols that they use for Christianity, it's a cross. It's literally a fish. So you got to, do a little extra research. Like the Pope in Rome, right? That weird head piece that he be wearing is literally a headpiece like Dagon, because secretly that's one of the gods that they worship. Dagon. Literally.
So time out. And you remember those peace fishes that they were trying to, like Jesus fishes, that was going around back in like early 2000s?
Yeah.
Late 90s. It's crazy.
Yep. So
but see, if they read their word, it tells you don't make no graven images on heaven or on earth.
Boy.
So that takes away everything. Like, oh, well, this cross is for Jesus, or this what is they called, the cross with the halo on top? Is
the
Ankh. Yeah. Oh, well, this is the real thing, bro. But if the word tells you don't make no graven images of anything on earth or in heaven, that kills all that. So you can't say, oh, well, this was made for this, or that was made for that. Nah. Wow, I didn't know that. The gun. I'm about to look that up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And that sport, that's another one. I didn't even pay attention to that. Because I seen the Philistine immigrants, but I didn't pay attention to sport at all.
Yep. All kinds of nuggets in the scriptures, man. That's how you know they're alive, man. This is thousands of years ago, and he's still speaking to us now.
Wow. And that's what they do. You know what I mean? They take these big, strong, athletic. Apparently Samson was a big, strong individual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say apparently, but from the scripture, I don't think he was no little guy.
No, I don't think he was.
And that's what they do.
Hold on, bro. What did you say, Jim?
I said he ripped the lion in half with his bare hands, man.
Mm-hmm.
Split it.
That probably was a cool.
Shut up, man.
That lion.
The
man tracked down 300 foxes and set crops on fire with them.
Didn't we read that he killed 1,000 men with a jawbone of an ass? Come on, bro. Like, that ain't nothing to play with.
Like, where he get 300 foxes?
But the man was not about it. He tied them together, 2 of them together. So we had 150 of them, just tied up together, 2 by 2,
and set their tails on
lit their tails on fire. And then burnt the crops with them. Like, that man was crazy. And God still showed him favor. The Most High still showed him favor, even after that.
Right.
And he couldn't leave the women alone. Oh, man. But yeah, let me go and get back into it. But yeah, man, this sport is that's something else, man.
Yeah, that's something else too. Keep going.
And Samson, okay, nope, I wasn't there. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And he made them
26.
Okay. And they called Samson from out of the prison. Hold on. And Samson said unto the lad, held him by the hand. Huh?
You're cutting out, but keep going. You're better now. Go ahead.
And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars. Hey, you got to mute something.
Yeah, mute me.
Okay, go ahead.
And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them.
Go to drop my cousin off right there by the Walmart. He's at the hotel right there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to the corner store real quick.
All right. I may feel the pillars within the house standing, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the masters of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto Elohim, called unto Yah and said, O Yah Elohim, remember me. I pray thee and strengthen me. I pray thee and strengthen me. I pray thee only this once, O Elohim, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistine from my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars and Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up. Of the one with his right hand, and the other one with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the masters and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zariah, and Eshtaol, in the burying place of Manoah his father, and he judged Israel 20 years.
So what's really crazy is, you remember when he had rent the line in half, and then there was honey, bees nest, whatever, honey in there, and he gave it to his parents, right? So
Yeah.
what's really crazy is the name Zora means hornet. So he was actually buried in the same place where he did that at. Crazy. It's crazy how that stuff all ends up lining up. What's even crazier still is after his eyes were taken, he's groping at noonday. You know, he has to have somebody help him walk around, whatever. He talks to a lad, and the lad puts him in between two pillars, right? Or what is that? So you in between a rock and a hard place? That's where he was at, right? Two pillars. Well,
Yeah.
the word Egypt, right? That's a Greek name. The actual name is Mitzrayim. If you look up that word Mitzrayim, it means to be in between two straits. So because the Philistines were making sport of him, mocking him, and he was having to grind and do all this and that, and they were guiding and this and that. He was literally in Mitzrayim, or in between a rock and a hard place, in between two pillars, and the Most High still decided to let his spirit come upon him one more time so he could slay his enemies. Like the Most High, like his ways are above our ways. Like this stuff is just so crazy, man. I saw that, I'm like, yeah, I forgot about that. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything else. And then he ended up killing more people upon his death than he did within his life. So we're almost done. I just wanted to bring that out. So I'm gonna read Psalms 2:23, my bad, verse 4 through 6. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Because even though he was blind and was on his deathbed, the Most High still prepared that table so he could slay his enemies. That's how merciful the Most High is, even though he's going to take his life anyway, because of his own mistakes, because he wasn't a righteous judge, because he was a blind judge, leading the blind, to be honest. If we're being honest, he was a blind judge. That's why the Most High took his eyes, because he couldn't discern with his eyes, and he definitely couldn't discern spiritually either. So it's just a lot of stuff that goes on behind that. And man, one thing that we have to take into account, because the scriptures talk about that once we come out of this captivity, that we'll no longer be talking about Yahuwah that brought us out of the land of Mitzrayim or Egypt, the land of two straits, whatever, but how he brought us out of all the lands we were scattered to. But we got to be careful, lest when that time comes, we become a proverb. Now, you remember all those proverbs that we went over, right? About the strange woman, and how you're supposed to be, making sure that you're keeping the laws of the apple between your eye, and all this and that, and how the strange woman's past leads to death, and how her guests don't know that they're already dead, that they're already in hell. Samson didn't realize was he became a proverb. So we got to be careful when the Most High is trying to warn us and sending all these signals, like you with somebody and then you let them know your weakness, and then they try to pull it out of you and this and that. You still keep dealing with them. The Most High, he's trying to make you aware of certain things, of snakes in the way. So we got to make sure that we're not blind, lest our eyes be taken like Samson, because he became a proverb. All these proverbs that we were reading literally tell of Samson's life. He didn't know he was already dead. He was the walking dead. The walking dead. He became a fool. Because what? Because of the lust of his eyes ruled the wisdom in his mind. Because he wasn't, everything he did was because of his urges. The only time you heard him asking for prayer was when he was about to die and to be avenged on his enemies. That was it. You don't see him praying. You don't see him judging righteously. You don't see him doing all the things that a judge in Yisrael or Israel is supposed to do. We got to get, if we're in these modes where the only time we come to the Most High is when we need help, when we're in our dire straits, we're wrong. We got to get away from it lest we become a proverb of reproach in future generations. I'm not trying to be somebody that's known for being so strong, but then again, so I'll say blind. I'll just say blind. I don't want to call him stupid. But he should have realized he should have cut that woman off. We got to be careful lest we become a proverb of reproach.
Well, yeah, like you said, you don't want to be so strong to where you're weak. Because he was weak behind women.
Bruh.
Whores, particularly whores.
Bruh. For real. Like real talk, man. And I'll just go through these last scriptures real quick. I go to Revelation 17, read verses 1 through 5 real quick. Because the strange woman is not always a little woman. It's also doctrine. It's also theology. It's also traditions of men, which make the commandment of no effect. It's also the Roman Catholic Church or Christianity, in the sense that it's all this paganism, all this bad stuff that they try to, make us numb to make us think it's okay. It's okay. We can do this. You can drink from someone else's cistern. And we know we need to be drinking from our own cistern, which is the word of the Most High. And this is rivers of living water, life eternal, not what man try to tell us to do and what they try to indoctrinate. So, Revelation 17, verse 1, and there came one of the seven angels which had seven vials and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, strange woman, that sitteth upon many waters, many nations, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman set upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of all of the earth. The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So if you keep reading it, it'll let you know even more about that. But we're just trying to wrap this up. So we're going to go to Revelation 18, read verses 1 through 8. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not her plagues. For her sins have reached unto the Shamayim, and Elohim hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come all in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahuwah Elohim who judgeth her. And the last one, 2 Thessalonians 2:11.
Hold on. I don't know what no Thessalonians is. I gotta go look. Hold on. I still ain't found it.
Okay.
1 Thessalonians.
Second. 2.
14. All right.
2 and 11.
I'm ready, Freddie.
Okay. And for this cause, Elohim shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. That's Roman Catholic Church, Christianity, all these other pagan religions, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to Elohim for you, brethren, beloved of Yahuwah, because Elohim hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief in the truth. Now, bam. What does Psalms 119 and 142 say?
Hold on, I'm going to Psalm 119 to 42. We went over this the other day.
Yeah, you already know.
119 and 42.
142.
All right. 142 says, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is truth.
And thy law is the truth. Even better still, wait, there was another one. What was it at? Oh, 151. Thou art near, O Yahuwah, and all thy commandments are truth. So, again, this was the first talk with Bam, June, Yahoo, your boy. Keep thy foot. When walking through the valley of choice vines, lest in your Sabbath of rest you be made feeble and die. Now, how would you say it with the names again, Bam?
All right. Keep thy foot
Which means
while walking in Sarek.
Right.
Lest ye, lest ye be in Manoah and be Delilah and die. Close. It's close.
Yeah. No, you're spot on though. So keep that foot, or use discretion, guard your tongue, because death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it will eat the fruit thereof, right? And that's Proverbs 18 and 21. So keep that foot when walking in the valley of choice vines, Sarek, like you said. Like in your place of Manoah, you be made Delilah and die. You're in Sheol. You're with the strange woman. Mystery Babylon the Great. So before we end this, did that make sense to y'all?
Yeah. I don't tell no story. I didn't know where you was going with the title. What's up? Where you at, man? Huh. You heard that?
You didn't know I was going with the title?
You said what, bro?
You said you didn't know where I was going with the title?
Yeah. Now, where is this? Where is he headed with this?
Yeah.
But as we start reading, the slide coming together like that. That's how. Hold on, bro. I have to use it. I've been holding it for a minute. But that's how teaching should be right there. Even if
Wow, we got it. Damn.
all right. But you gotta know these things. And nobody sits around here and they don't put slides up. They don't put the memes. We're in mental shambles. We're in mental shackles.
Okay, yeah, you're cutting on. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
But no, I was just saying, like, we're just in a mental blockage because of the way we was taught. We wasn't taught properly. Yeah, I like the way you broke that down, man. Good job, bro. Kudos.
Okay, to the Most High Yah. So we'll try to get another session in because we got some older stuff that we need to go ahead and get everything cleared and uploaded. That's all, man. We try to be patient while we try to
I
figure
can't
out.
hear you, bro. You gotta be cracking up.
Hold on. No, I was just saying that thank y'all for being available and for being patient as we try to figure out Zoom because that was kind of an ordeal with everything going on. But most I made a way, and I'm grateful, man. Thank y'all.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, I see we're recording this. Would you upload this on the channel?
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother got one here. He out there. You don't want to show him? No, I'm saying he got my whole pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Say less. Okay. Well, I ain't see him.
He probably be downstairs in Burr. Yeah, he down there.
Yeah.
But what I was finna say, yeah, but yeah, you know,